Gorilla Tag, a game we all play for different reasons. Maybe you're trying to get better, to make friends, the list really goes on. But what happens when you get rid of all those reasons? Well, you get an experience like this. Walking through the forest feels different. This could be compared to autophobia, which is the fear of being alone. But I like to think of it as the fear of not being alone. When we're unaware of our surroundings, we go into a perpetual state of not knowing, which is why it's so scary. Or at least, that's one of the reasons. Another phobia associated with Gorilla Tag and the psychology of horror is ceratophobia, defined as the fear or discomfort within quiet spaces. But how can this be? Gorilla Tag is a lively game with other players and things to occupy your mind. But without any of that, when you're playing alone, everything you would normally ignore or care for is put into the foreground of your attention. Have you ever heard your name when nobody called for you? Or heard your phone ring, only to check it and see that nobody is calling? Research based on sensory deprivation has shown that when the brain is deprived of stimuli, it starts creating its own interpretations, sometimes causing people to experience unusual sounds, shapes, or sensations. When we can't make sense of a situation or environment, it fills in the blanks and attempts to identify a threat. This phenomenon is called sensory deprivation-induced hallucinations. In Gorilla Tag, instead of thinking, it's probably nothing, instead it defaults to, what if someone or something is actually there? It's no secret that the conscious mind hates empty spaces, especially with how many people are usually in a Gorilla Tag server. Your brain makes a comparison and thinks, there is usually people here, where is everyone? Evolution taught the human brain to take silence as a potential warning for danger. The brain becomes too aware. Psychologists refer to this as hypervigilance. Allow me to ask you, have you ever been alone and suddenly got the chills because you felt watched? This is fittingly called the someone is watching me effect. Our senses are always scanning for other people, and humans have a tendency called a hyperactive agency detection. This is the belief that something has an intention behind it. When a bush rustles, it could be the wind, an animal, another person. We default to thinking that something caused it, which leads us to the inevitable conclusion that someone is there even if the actual cause is harmless. This causes the feeling of breath on your neck. You think someone has to be behind me, and you feel a strong, almost incessant urge to turn around only for nothing to be there in the first place. This is your brain at work. We naturally hate the not knowing state of mind. When you don't know if there is a threat in your blind spot, you naturally feel an urge to check. Now, all this is just normal psychology, but how does Gorilla Tag specifically relate so closely to this? For a few reasons. Every single thing in Gorilla Tag, every map, every sound, every visual, was built around the assumption that there's other players to vacate it, not just one. Removing everyone else makes you think that something is missing, that something is wrong. This results in the feeling that you're somewhere you're not supposed to be. This is definitely a confusing subject, but I really hope that I could help you understand it a little bit. And as always, thank you for watching. And if you like this video, feel free to like and subscribe. Thanks for watching.